Hey guys, what up? Total Control 871 chiming in with just some points of order, if you will, about tonight's presidential debate. This is not going to be an in-depth review video. Uh, just some my own rebuttals to the primary topics that were covered. Of course, as usual, they went all over the place, each side accusing the other side of all kinds of stuff. But just a small handful of the topics that Kristen Welker went over. Here is my rebuttal to these things. The anchor baby situation, the separated children. Democrats have found themselves, and I said this and thought this to myself back in March of this year as the fake pandemic was gaining steam. You're locking everything down, especially when things are going into the lockdown phase. I waited to listen for the other shoe dropping. What about Democrats' cherished illegal aliens? Their anchor babies, their you know, and Democrats very much indeed. The deep state alt left had to walk a very precarious tightrope during this entire thing, and of course, to date, they've still given no exact clarity as to why. A clear explanation as to why, if your fake pandemic is so real and so dangerous that people can't even gather for a simple backyard barbecue, but we can continue to allow immigrants, illegal aliens of all persuasions, not even talking about South America, but yeah, all of them, even if it is Sweden and blonde haired, blue eyed immigrants, all of them. Why wasn't the borders completely sealed off from everybody? Illegal alien South Americans included. Hmm? You see, it was just one more situation where the alt left wanted to have it both ways. Eat their cake, have their cake, eat it too. You can't have it both ways. Moving on, but we look, I already admit that Trump's finances are probably a nightmare fiasco, so it's not like I am blind to it. I understand there are Trump supporters out there who are, when it comes to Donald Trump, see no, hear no, speak no. I'll say nothing against my beloved leader. Hey, at least I admit, Trump, he's a shyster. He'll stiff you. You get into bed with him to build his buildings. What you end up getting paid, it is, well, I guess kind of like his slot machines. Or his casino. It's a roll of dice, a spin of the slot machine wheels. You really don't know what you're going to get. However, all that said, because I don't want you, like I said, I don't want you to think that I don't see Trump for what he is. All that said, Biden still gave no explanation to all of his foreign money and his foreign connections and the whole Hunter Biden Burisma thing. Who are we kidding? It's Benghazi all over again. Okay? It is, okay? I'm not, just like I don't play blind to Trump's shit, I'm not going to sit here and play blind to Biden's either, okay? Biden very much indeed was in bed. Also, in regards to Biden's sorted past, uh, Trump very much indeed drilled him hard, baby, on that 94 crime bill. Um, I won't say who, but there is a representative here in the state of New Jersey. Uh, I have a buddy, because you guys know I'm always talking about my buddies, and um, I have a buddy fell victim, I guess you could say, was in the 94 crime bill dragnet, if you will. And let's put it like this: his wife, his father in law, was a judge. And even with those connections, he still ended up getting a pretty rough deal. Although it. Pro- excuse me. Prosecutor wanted him to roll on bigger fish, roll over on bigger fish. It's not so much that my buddy was so, stick together, nothing like that. It's just that these big fish, well, they're big fish. And he had three very small children. And yeah, how about the wife, you, and this isn't TV. It doesn't. There is no happy ending guaranteed. Okay, how many times have we seen people whisked away to what is it, witness protection, and we think that they live, just went on to live a happily ever after life. Yeah, number one, witness protection wasn't even on the table. Bottom line, you roll over on those big fish, drop the dime, help the prosecutor. Well, we already see the drive-by shootings of homes in Philadelphia, and this is what he had to protect his family from. Okay, and to his credit, he did that. About $80 worth of cocaine is what he got stopped with. Uh, Followed him for quite a while. Ended up going on, got his master's degree, college, and of course, you got to expunge your past. It's a lot that's involved, And anyway, he now currently works for a representative here in New Jersey. He works in his administration. Like I say, I won't say who or what or where. And I just find that interesting that Democrat, Democratic representative. And here he is laboring, I can only imagine, to not only labor to keep the representative that he works for in office, but also, of course, the leader of the Democratic Party, Joe Biden, whose precious crime bill, gave you a criminal record for, how long? Yeah, it was no snap of the fingers, and quite frankly, even to this day, I'm sure he probably has to disclose his expunged record. So much for expungement. Moving on. So yeah, it is true, but Biden, he isn't the chummiest of friends with black people that he's now painting himself to be. In case you didn't follow along, that's what Trump was riding his ass on. You had 8 years. You had 8 years. By the way, Biden gave that little, what was that? That answer, that one word or a couple word answer. The House was controlled by Republicans. And Kristen Welker was waiting for him to expound on that, and he's like, "That's the answer." um, no, Joe. Uh, when Obama got elected in 2008, okay, between 2008 and 2010. So for the first half of yours and Obama's administration, you not only had the presidency, but you also controlled the House and the Senate. Okay, so I'm afraid you don't exactly have that as your excuse, your magical cloak excuse, okay? Um, Lockdowns are killing America. But Joe passes himself off as the kitchen table president. We saw him, so we saw Joe, because this was like, you have to pay attention to everything. We had Joe talking about Trump didn't lock us down. He didn't. Basically, what Joe Biden was saying was that Donald Trump did not plunge America into lockdown. I mean, I don't even know how. Like I said, had the Democrats gotten their complete way, the economic devastation would have been positively cataclysmic. I cannot overstate this enough. Okay? The Democrats, and are still currently trying to plunge America into absolutely crippling economic destruction. Okay? Not Trump, but the Republican Party. Okay? Because that's who I'm supporting here. It's not so much that I'm asking you to vote for Trump. I'm asking you to vote for the Republican Party, if you understand what I'm saying. Okay. Um, Biden harps on Trump about Trump not locking down fast enough or hard enough. Okay. But then fast forward X amount of minutes in the debate, and now all of a sudden Joe Biden's talking about how he understands America's pain and why we need $15 an hour minimum wage, which I can get behind. We need those people who are struggling to get their mortgage paid and get their payroll paid. Yeah, you know fucking what, Joe? Do you know what's really causing them to struggle with this? The goddamn lockdowns. Okay? You can't sit here and demand Trump and McConnell, okay, and Lindsey Graham and everybody, Steve Mnuchin, everybody fucking else, okay, to plunge us into lockdown despair, to crush and annihilate the economy, but then want to turn around in the next breath and say, I understand your needs, your lockdown, and you're struggling to make your payments and to put food on the table and to. No, apparently you don't understand, Joe. Apparently you do not have a good grasp on the situation, okay? Because right now you're trying to extol the values of an ideology, okay? A cult ideology of the alt, very, very far left, okay? This is what you're trying to extol. You want everybody to simply fall into unescapable, into basically an economic black hole. There really is no other way of saying it. Where nothing escapes. Fucking ever. Nothing. Okay? You talk about how Trump wants to push 20 million people off of their health insurance. Okay. Hey Joe, how many people get health insurance through their job? I'm just wondering. Hmm. And hey Joe, how many people have lost their fucking health insurance because of you and your alt-left lockdowns? Huh? Oh, I guess you don't want to talk about that. Okay? Because were you to get your way and all of America is the American economy is annihilated, okay? Leaving only the liberal elite tech giants left standing. Okay? The liberal elite tech giants left standing, and everybody else is plunged into the motherfucking grapes of wrath. Okay? Into goddamn cataclysmic, unescapable poverty. Poverty, yeah, I guess, like Donald Trump would say, poverty like the likes you've never seen before. Yeah, well, I guess, what can I say? The stop clock is right again. This would be poverty of epic, of operatic proportions. I don't get to use that word in that context very often. Poverty of operatic proportions is what the alt left is trying to usher in. Okay? And the only thing that the shields are buckling. There has been cross metaphors here with some Star Trek. You know, our Republican shields are faltering. They've taken significant damage. Shields are down to like 10% okay? Because there has been a great deal of damage to our economy. Many businesses gone. We'll never see the likes of again, which is exactly what the alt left want, leaving only their precious big liberal elite tech giants left to fill the void. Okay? Where's our antitrust laws to save us? No competition. No. You're going to pay liberal elite tech giant prices, and you're going to be happy about it because there is no competition. And if anybody tries to set up shop, well, don't worry. We'll just simply, liberal elite tech giants will call their Democratic deep state governors and have them shut your motherfucking business down. Okay? All right. So you've got no health insurance. Okay? I believe they were talking about, this Medicare for all shit. Because I just recently got my health insurance. I learned that the one thing that I need most, my hormone replacement therapy, no, that's not covered. My medical compression socks covered up, no, not the ones I need anyway. Okay, Medicare will give me 2 pair of some $20-$30 compression socks by some other name brand, not Jobst. Oh no. They don't cover Jobst. Why in the world are you people so hell-bent on Medicare for all? It is shit insurance. Long before I was ever political, okay, we're going back to my 20s, man. I used to sit there and listen to old people harp and bitch about their Medicare. I guess you don't listen to your grandparents. I love my grandmommy. Lord rest her soul, you know. Not only her, but I would sit there and I'd listen to her and her friends talk. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of a flashback because they would they would marvel as I remember how they would marvel as to how I would sit so quietly and just listen. You know, I was a very mild child, and I would sit. You know, if my grandmommy would take me over somebody's home, a senior citizen's home, a lot of old people are fearful of young people being highly rambunctious, volatile, not necessarily threatening, but, you know, a child off the leash kind of a thing. And that was not me at all, very well behaved. And I would just sit there and intently listen to what they were talking about. They hated their fucking health insurance, okay? And this is like back in the 80s, okay? Believe me, you can just imagine how much cheaper, skimpier shit has gotten over the decades, okay? I'm watching St. Elsewhere on Hulu, okay? St. Elsewhere Season 1. I'm giggling because everybody that came in got admitted. I think in the following season they kind of toned it down a little bit. I mean, I think there were like people coming into the ER with their kids had like a skin knee, and you know one of the ER doctors be like, okay, but I think we're gonna admit you and just hold you overnight. Man, even back then they were, because this is St. Elsewhere started in like early 80s, you know. And no, even back in the 80s in real life, health insurance was, no. They would not authorize admission for such trivial shit. But yeah, so I don't know why you're so hell bent on Medicare for all. Okay, it's shit insurance. Competition. I made a notation about competition, or I remember them talking about competition in the job market and other sectors. And I was making a mental note in my mind. I was saying, you know, Walmart makes, I think I even did it, shown the bicycle in one of my videos in Walmart. They make I guess you can call it a road bike, 700C, although it's closer to 28-inch wheels. About $200 or $230. Oh, isn't that nifty? That's like saying that bicycle is competition to a Pinarello F1. I don't even think the pedals on a Pinarello F1 cost $230. Okay? I don't think $230 would cover the cost of a Pinarello F1's pedals. Okay? I don't even know if $230 would pay for the tires on a Pinarello F1. Okay? That bicycle that Walmart would sell is not competition. Nowhere near. Okay? That's like saying one of those little, they break them down and build them up, traveling amusement parks is competition for Great Adventure. Okay? Or Busch Gardens. Or Universal Theme Park. Or Disney World. Okay? I mean, sure, they all offer rides and entertainment, but seriously? You really believe it's in the same class? You know, because I'm making that as far as when when Biden was talking about everybody deserves quality health insurance. Quality health insurance? You seriously believe that what you're offering is quality health insurance? Sure, no, I believe you want to give something to everybody. But what that something is I don't know if I would necessarily classify or qualify it as health insurance, let alone quality health insurance. Just so you know. Lockdowns are killing America, but Joe passes himself off as a kitchen table president. Yeah. Like I was saying, Joe can't have it both ways. You can't sit there and talk about how you want America under USSR lockdown. Don't even get me started on the elections and the elections. I tell you, this election is going to be so chopped and screwed. We are watching as our alt-left deep state are speaking as if it's the Republicans who are doing voter suppression. Again, I remind you, it was the Democrat deep state who took away secure voting machines. Them and them alone. Them and them alone. Why? They might not necessarily use this exact language, but it's because they know deep down that, I hate to say it like this, but just like how Joe Biden called the urban black men super predators, well, he also thinks you urban black people are super lazy and that you won't get the fuck up and go and vote. So now they created online registration. Oh, baby. Oh, do you know I could, those Russian servers, North Korean servers, okay? And that's just the beginning. China, Turkey, the Arabs, and anybody else out there, okay? their servers have got to be working overtime, creating bot accounts, fictitious signatures, fictitious everything. Do you? I cannot believe they actually had. You can register online. I was watching some little PSA. Oh, it's super easy. If you want to register to vote, just get out your phone and stop right there. Right there is where you just made your huge mistake. Okay? Phone. 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 Okay. Yeah, so I can just imagine how many bots are now registered to vote. Okay. I'm not exactly sure as to which candidate these fictitious voters will be voting for. They could do damage by voting for either side, you know. This is just going to be an absolute nightmare fiasco. Nightmare fiasco. This will not be. Either way, this will not be a fair election, regardless of who is elected or reelected. This election, it's already been compromised, already infiltrated. The damage has already been done. Okay. All right, guys, that's it. I don't know what to tell you. There is a lot that's hanging in the balance. If you want to return to normal, if you are sick and tired of hearing about cases positive because the PCR test has been cycled so many times that it fictitiously creates a positive. Okay? Cases positive. Cases positive. Where are the people in the hospitals? I think I was watching something tonight saying, oh my God, there are 4 ICU patients packed to a room. Really? Well, how many rooms you got going? Can we see? No. No. All you're going to say is 4 to a room and then leave it at that. Okay. And again, I remind you, ICU rooms, they are not static. They operate like restaurants with banquet halls attached. Okay? If your normal seating capacity is 100, but you have a banquet hall that can accommodate an additional 100 people, then when you say that you are at 98% capacity, but your banquet hall is still closed, that's because the size of your restaurant is not static. Same is true with an ICU unit. They don't keep a bunch of ICU beds staffed and at the ready if there aren't that many people that actually need them. It's fantastically expensive to do that. Waste a lot of manpower too. You know? That's why they shrink. ICU units are constantly shrinking and expanding when needed. Stop listening to percentages. Percentages are not the accurate representation. Give us concrete numbers. I don't want to hear percentages, and I don't want to hear case positive. How many people are currently in your hospital, in your state or city, that are critically ill with COVID? How many? Not percentages. How many? 10, 50, 100? Or is it only 3? Okay? How many? And how come you're so reluctant to give this data? If your pandemic is so real, then why won't you give this particular number? Okay? Because, hey, I'm right there with you. You want to see Donald Trump's taxes, and I want to see exactly how many people are in the hospital with COVID. exactly how many, not percentages. How many? We're 11 months, almost a year into this thing. When's the super spreading going to happen? When are the hospitals going to get overrun? You want people to destroy their lives, destroy their businesses that took their entire lives. Some of these businesses are multi-generational. You want to destroy the American way of life on a theory. Models show. Statistics say. It's 11 months later. Shouldn't we see some results from your models? And I'm sorry, your 220,000 dead number, it's not very impressive. Again, I remind you, in the state of Florida alone, 145,000 died from a variety of illnesses. Not even accidents or homicides. You know, the same illnesses that you say are linked. Okay? So when I say, like I showed you guys the chart. What was it? 40 some thousand from heart disease? 45,000 heart disease? So you don't say that a person dies from COVID alone. You say COVID-related illness. So if heart disease guy, clogged artery guy, dies and tests positive after the PCR has been cycled 40 or 50 freaking times to achieve that positive status, you can now take an annual death that is predicted and claim it as COVID. Let's see. So you're taking these illnesses, their death, and you're letting COVID take the credit for it. So that's what we're seeing happen here. All right. I didn't think this is going to be this long. All right. Think wise, vote wise. Total Control 871.